I'm Henry. I'm 101 years old, and I'm going to tell you something. That would have made my younger self roll his eyes and straighten his tie. If you're in a Western office right now, under fluorescent lights, carrying a title that sounds important, there's a good chance you're not drowning because the work is hard. You're drowning because you've accepted a story that keeps you obedient. You call it responsibility. Most days, it's a culture of blame wearing a nice suit. You call it professionalism. Often, it's emotional bottling with a polished lid, and you call it ambition. Too often, it's an ego building a ladder, and then kicking out the rungs behind you. Listen to that clock. Every tick is a receipt, and time is the only thing you never get to return. When I was a young architect, I loved the clean honesty of a blueprint. A line meant something. A wall was a wall. A load-bearing beam didn't care if you were having a bad day. The office wasn't like that. In the office, words could be smoke, meetings could be theater, and responsibility could be a trapdoor. I didn't see it at first. I thought I was being noble. I thought I was providing. I was the man who stayed late, who took the hit when a timeline slipped, who swallowed irritation so I could look calm at the conference table. I was praised for it, promoted for it, paid for it, and slowly, without ever signing a document, I agreed to become a wind-up toy, a neat little mechanism, wound each morning, sent to slam into the same wall, 40 years of motion that looked like progress, because it was busy. There was a door beside the wall the whole time, wide open, but I was trained to face forward, not sideways. I'll tell you about my son, Thomas. He's 48 now, successful, the kind of man people describe with that word like it's a medal. Management consultant. He travels. He speaks in clean, efficient sentences. Even when he sits with me, his phone glows in his hand like a small second sun. A while back, one of those gray Sundays where New England feels like it's made of wet wool, Thomas came to the house. He walked in, shook the rain off his coat, and stood in the living room like he was waiting for an agenda. He glanced at the wingback chair, he glanced at the clock, and then he glanced at his phone. "Busy week," he said, like an apology he'd practiced. "It's just, you know how it is." I did know how it was. That's what frightened me. I remembered a day from long ago. Thomas was maybe 10. I'd promised I'd take him to a diner after school, one of those places with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that tastes like it's been brave too long. But a client called, then the partner called, then the urgent meeting became a crisis. I told Thomas to sit tight in the lobby while I handled responsibility. He waited. He watched secretaries come and go. He swung his legs. He tried to be good. When I finally came out, it was dark. He didn't cry. That's the part that still cuts. He looked up at me with the face of a child learning a law of physics. Dad belongs to the office. I drove him home in silence and told myself a story. I have no choice. That sentence is the most comfortable prison in America. I have no choice. My boss expects it. The economy is tough. The world is cold. Sometimes those things are real, but very often they're a warm blanket over a harder truth. You're scared to choose, because if you admit you have freedom, then you inherit responsibility. And that responsibility is terrifying. It means you can't blame the state, the boss, the market, the culture, the calendar. It means you have to find your own voice and risk disappointing someone. Thomas sat across from me that Sunday and told me he might be moved to another account. Bigger, more prestige, more money. His jaw tightened when he said it, like he was bracing for a punch he couldn't name. I asked him, "Do you even want it?" He laughed, quick, sharp, automatic. Want it? It's the next step. That's how the ladder talks to you. It doesn't ask what you love, it asks what's next. And here's the second hard truth. What you call professionalism is often emotional bottling. The office teaches you to swallow disappointment, to compress anger, to keep sadness behind your teeth, to smile in meetings like your insides aren't shaking. You get good at it. People admire you for it. But emotions don't disappear. They leak. They leak into your marriage as impatience, into your body as sleeplessness, into your weekends as numbness, into your kids as absence that still somehow fills the room. I watched it happen in me. Then I watched it happen in Thomas. He wasn't rude. He wasn't cruel. He was drained, like a phone that never charges because it's always in use. And then there's the third truth, the one most people won't say out loud because it feels like stepping off a cliff. The ladder of success is often built by an ego that becomes its own executioner. At first, ego looks like fuel. It tells you, be more, earn more, win more. It whispers that your importance is just one more promotion away. But ego is never satisfied. It turns you stubborn. It turns you arrogant in small, reasonable ways. It convinces you that you're the only one who can do it right, that you can't rest, that you can't step back, because if you do, the world will forget you. The cruel joke is that the world forgets anyway, not out of malice, out of momentum. I designed buildings that made magazines. I've got my name on plaques. I've got furniture that costs more than my father's first house. And yet this room is silent enough that I can hear my own regrets breathe. Here's the paradox that steals lives in plain daylight. You trade your time to get money, believing money will someday buy your time back. But time doesn't go on sale, not for anyone. In this country, we walk around like our future is infinite. We act like we can always start living after this quarter, after this promotion, after the kids are older, after the mortgage is easier. So we run on autopilot. And one day, you wake up and realize you've become a naturalized prisoner of a high-status cage. The bars are made of benefits, reputation, expectations, and that quiet fear of starting over. The door is open, but you've grown a peacock's tail, titles, symbols, little trophies of status, and it's so heavy you can't imagine flying. I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow. I'm too old for slogans. I'm telling you to stop pretending you're only a pawn. In the office, they teach you your moves are limited. They teach you to fear being captured, fired, replaced, forgotten. But you're not just a pawn. You are the entire chessboard. That means you have more moves than you've been trained to see. You can tell the truth, gently but clearly, about what you can and cannot do. You can stop volunteering your health as tribute. You can build a life that doesn't require you to become emotionally airtight. And you can ask one question that rearranges the room. What am I postponing that I'll be too old to do later? If your answer has a face in it, a spouse, a child, a friend, then call them. Be present with them like it matters, because it does. If your answer is something quiet, writing, hiking, coaching your kid's team, learning an instrument, sitting on the porch without guilt, then protect it like an appointment with the only person you can't replace, yourself. The clock will keep ticking, whether you wake up or not. So wake up. Take care of yourself.